As mentioned in parts 1, 2, and 3, there are 6 core controls that form the foundation of camera operations, and more importantly, they will be the key to your success in capturing or creating great photographs. So far, we've covered the first 5 controls: ISO, shutter curtain or shutter speeds, diaphragm or aperture and f-stops, focus modes, and shooting modes. In part 4 of Module 11, we're going to cover the final basic control on a still photographic camera: metering modes. Remember the following from parts 1, 2, and 3. The mechanisms for adjusting the basic camera controls on your camera. They may not be in the same spots of the equipment demonstrated in this video. So again, it's best to have your camera manual handy or download the digital version from the manufacturer's website. What is a metering mode? In the most simplistic explanation, metering modes are defined as a way your camera measures the light illuminating a scene. It is based on a built-in exposure meter that measures the light in and around a scene or subject, and when you point your camera at the scene or subject. In short, your camera is trying to provide you with a balanced exposure. However, a balanced exposure is predicated on using the right metering mode for the scene and how it is illuminated. Depending upon the metering mode selected, you can measure light in small areas, wide areas, and most points in between to determine the exposure value and based on your ISO, aperture, and shutter speed settings. In a quick aside, there are also handheld light meters, often used by professional photographers. Handheld light meters work along the same principles as the onboard light meter in your camera. Handheld light meters are designed to measure 2 types of light. They can measure the light falling on a scene or subject, which is known as incident light. They can also measure the light reflecting from the scene or subject, which is known as reflected light. A camera's onboard light meter only measures reflected light. I will cover using handheld light meters and properly measuring light with various subjects and scenes in later video lessons. Now, and as with shooting and focusing modes, metering modes are mostly standardized across camera brands. They simply use different descriptors for essentially the same metering modes. With that said, there are 3 primary metering modes: multi or matrix metering, center-weighted metering, and spot metering. There are other metering modes and other settings your camera has for measuring light, but we're going to stick with the 3 primary modes in this lesson. Additionally, and as already mentioned, the names and symbols for each primary metering mode may vary for each manufacturer. However, the way the metering modes work is essentially the same regardless of camera brand. The matrix metering mode is the camera's default metering mode, and the one most commonly used. In matrix mode, the camera divides the shooting frame or image area into zones. Think of it like a grid of tiny puzzle pieces. It then analyzes the brightness of each zone, weighs them against where your focus point is, and presents a measured exposure estimate. It's pretty smart most of the time. Use this mode when you're shooting a balanced scene, such as landscapes, everyday moments, or portraits with even lighting. Be careful, matrix can be fooled by extreme lighting contrasts, like a bright sky behind a dark subject. Center-weighted metering, like matrix, looks at the entire frame, but it gives extra importance to what's happening in the middle. It doesn't care about your focus point. It's old school and predictable, but it's incredibly useful. Why? Because it's great when your subject is centered and you want some control over unpredictable lighting. Think portraits with backlighting, people in spotlights, or even food photography. If you want consistency in getting your subject metered properly, center-weighted is the go-to mode. Spot metering is the sniper of exposure tools. It measures a small area of the image frame, typically 1 to 5%, and usually your primary focus point. That's it, no averaging, no assumptions. You tell the camera, this exact spot matters. Expose for this. It's perfect for high contrast scenes. A person against a window, the moon at night, or a beam of light cutting across a dark room. It's ideal for when you want to manually control the story. But remember, spot metering demands accuracy. One small misread and the rest of your image can go wild. So, which metering mode should you use? Well, it depends. Are you shooting quickly and on the go and wide scenes? If so, stick with matrix. Need a little more balance in the main subject's exposure? Try center weighted. Perhaps you need absolute control over one key subject. Spot is your friend. Like choosing the right lens, the right metering mode isn't about what's best, it's about what's best for the moment. Well, that's it for metering modes. With the conclusion of this lesson, we've covered all 6 core camera controls: ISO, shutter speeds, aperture or f-stops, focus modes, shooting modes, and metering modes. As stated in parts 1, 2, and 3, mastering all 6 basic camera controls will open the door to you becoming a truly creative photographer. As with any aspect of learning photography, each lesson can seem like a lot to remember. As you practice and apply the lessons learned in each module, it will become easier. Keep this in mind. The more you use the manual modes, the faster your skills will develop. Automated modes have their place, but manual modes force you to learn when and where those places are appropriate. So get out there, experiment with the 6 core camera controls, and have fun while you learn to use them. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel using the subscribe button found below. Also, make sure to click the post notification bell so you never miss out on new content as it's posted. Last thing, please spread the word about this channel to anyone you think might be interested in learning photography. Remember, if you're going to shoot someone, use a camera. Thanks for watching.